Welcome back to the Cinema Sessions. My name is Keith, and as always, I'm joined by
Seamus, hello.
This week, we're heading to Copland, a crime drama set in a New Jersey town populated almost entirely by New York cops, many of whom are just as crooked as the criminals they're supposed to be chasing. Released in 1997, the film features an incredible cast including Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro, Harvey, Keitel and Ray Liotta, plus many, many more. It's often remembered as the movie where Stallone proved he could do more than throw punches, playing a small town sheriff forced to confront the corruption he's ignored for years. But does Copland deserve its reputation as an overlooked crime classic? Is Stallone really that good? And can this stacked cast overcome some of the film's flaws? Let's find out. Now,
got there.
Finally. So, starting Roberto De Niro.
Yeah, it's, well, to start, why not start there? I found it, when I was aware of this when it was coming out, so I was like, it's a big cast and, you know, all this. When I was looking back at it, his is really the only role that I'm like, they kind of got someone they didn't really need to be that amazing in it. I'm very happy it is him.
Yeah.
But there's nothing much about the character that suggests it had to be someone of De Niro's kind of caliber to do it.
I think they just fucking... Because you look at James Mangold and how the film came about, how it came to fruition. And I think this was kind of, who else can we get? Do you know what I mean? And especially when you see interviews, I watched the round table with him and Ray Liotta and Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, I saw that too, yeah.
And you can tell that he's like an excited puppy, which is amazing, not in a bad way. I don't mean any shade in saying that. But he kind of struck me as the type that was like, Ray Liotta's on, okay, who can we get next? And next. Because if you look at this from top to bottom, even the bit part players in this are like it's not as if they're discovering anybody in this, like, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're all kind of players that were around at the time. Mm-hmm. Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, just look, it was the dry run for The Sopranos, like, do you know what I mean?
I did find that interesting, and I don't know how much at the time they were aware of this, but there's a guy in it who he's one of those that guy actors, and I remember going, oh yes, good. I was like, did they purposefully cast people who play gangsters a lot to play the police in it? And there's a guy, he's the guy who threatened Stallone in the back seat of the car. And I was like, like, he's a classic mob actor. That guy was actually a New York cop.
Yeah, Arthur Nascarella.
Yeah. And then
hardcore, like he was there for years. Because if you watch the making of, he explains exactly what he did. Like, he was hardcore. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
But what I found funny was, like, at least in New York, it does seem like there is no physiological difference between cops and gangsters. Like,
because they're all Irish and Italian and anyway. Like, do you know what I mean?
I just found it, like, I was like, that's kind of clever that they cast all these actual, you know, classic gangster actors as the cops.
Because even the politicians like Frank Vincent and everything, like, do you know what I mean?
That was the most. You're like, and he's so, like, he was perfect. Like, he's only in that one little scene.
Genuinely, like, Copland came out 2 years before The Sopranos, and it genuinely feels like David Chase literally just pulled from it, because there's a lot of the same themes, everything going on in it. Like, I'll just go through like some, if not all. There's over a dozen. Like, do you know what I mean? So you have Edie Falco, Frank Vincent, Robert Patrick, Annabelle Sciorra. Watch me try and pronounce some of these names now. John Ventimiglia, Arthur J. Nascarella, Tony Sirico, who plays Paulie Walnuts. He's actually in the photo of Toy Turville that Stallone shows, one of the detectives. Frank Pellegrino, Paul Herman, Bruce Altman, Janine Garofalo, who's also in an episode. She's in an episode. She plays herself in one of the episodes.
No shit.
She's only in it for like 5 seconds, but you know what I mean? Honourable mention. And Robert John Burke. And that's only the main ones that you can probably remember, like, do you know what I mean? But there's background actors, there's everything that ended up getting parts in The Sopranos. Like, it's almost like I tried to find out what was Chase involved in any way in this, like, and it doesn't appear that he was. But like, I couldn't even find if there was a casting director or anything that was attached, because that seems like too much of a...
That's interesting, yeah. Although I suppose they did actually probably film it in New Jersey, which is... But who knows where they shoot those things in
They did. They shot this in northern New Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, so the town of Garrison is made up, but it's in a real place in Northern
New Jersey. I know
next
to nothing about New Jersey, but I know its relationship to New York.
Do you know there's more bears in New Jersey than anywhere else in
Is that right?
America? Yeah, because everybody thinks in New Jersey as the Sopranos or little towns like this. The amount of woodlands and forest once you go to the other side of the state is amazing.
Interesting, because a friend of mine, I want to say, how long was he in New York for? At least a summer or something. And now this is just his version of what happened, but he said, he says, you see where Jersey guys get their reputation. He says it's everything's grand, and then on the weekend these fucking knuckleheads from New Jersey come in and they're just acting real obnoxious. They go like, hey, what's going on here?
I'm walking here.
Yeah, he says like that's like the reputation is kind of earned. I don't know how accurate that is. I'm just saying what my friend told me.
Let us know in the comments, friends from New Jersey.
Sound off.
But it is, I have to say, just before you begin, there's parts of this film where it's real, like the juxtaposition of small town life in New Jersey as he's driving down a back road and New York is across the way. There's some beautiful. We'll get into it after.
That's nicely done, actually. Yeah. I'll just do my quick introduction in case anyone doesn't know. So, Copland, which we're talking about, is a crime drama thriller from 1997, written and directed by James Mangold. As mentioned, stars Sylvester Stallone, Harvey Keitel, Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro. I'll put Robert Patrick in there, even though he's not on here because he's very good. The film follows Freddie Heflin, the sheriff of a small New Jersey town populated almost exclusively by New York City police officers, who gradually uncovers corruption and a deadly cover-up involving the very men he has long admired. The film has a 7.0 rating on IMDb, a Metacritic critic score of 64, and a user score of 6.8. On Rotten Tomatoes, it holds a critic score of 75% and an audience score of 67%. It grossed approximately $63.7 million worldwide against a budget of $15 million. And on a personal note, folks, the Grand Budapest Hotel has a far more stacked cast than this film. The film opens up funny. So, the film recently in the last, 6 years now, became doubly relevant because it was produced by, noted scumbag Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, yeah.
And it's about corrupt police. So it's kind of become doubly, infamous, I suppose, since. And the film opens up appropriately enough with something that apparently Harvey Weinstein insisted on, which is like some background to how this town exists. Apparently for people in the US, this is like, on its face, this is like, oh, that's a bit far-fetched, isn't it? That town. Whereas to us, we're like, what's the big fucking deal? Like,
because I mean, even I was reading that even there is, because they have to set up the story because it is illegal for New York cops to live outside of New York State. So in order for it to make sense to an American audience, because we're just like, okay, that sounds ridiculous. Can you imagine being a Dublin guard and you're not allowed to live in Kildare? Do you know what I mean? Well, it's we don't have that here. Like, we don't have anything like it.
Yeah, they seem to have. Now, whether this is something the average Yank thinks about or not, I don't know. But in an interview I saw with him post 2020 or whatever, James Mangold was like talking about issues of cops not living in the communities that they serve. And as an Irishman, I was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. It does not seem to be anything that we insist on our police here,
There's a thing that comes up in the credits, like a disclaimer, basically explaining it is illegal in the United States or in New York and anyway to live outside the area. So it's just basically doubling down that we've made this up. Do you know what I mean? These things don't exist.
Well, I can't remember now. It is like James Mangold kind of said. He had an interesting quote about this. He said it's an allegory, and he says sometimes if you simplify things, you can find interesting things in it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's
that makes sense.
He's aware of what he's playing here.
Yeah. Now I have a question to ask you just before we properly get into things. What urban western? What? Like, am I completely off kilter here, or do I just not know what a western is? Because that's not the vibe because you have to understand now. I saw this film maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Okay, and I've seen it. So I haven't seen it till this week again.
Yeah.
And no, not once did I think, oh yeah, he's doing the whole thing. Oh, no, I did get the vibe of similar to you, with looking at all the typical gangster actors that are cast. I was like, oh yeah, okay, so it's like a Scorsese, almost Godfather like family type thing, except for cops. We're focusing on cops here, we're not focusing on the mob. That's the vibe I got. I never once crossed my mind that he's doing a fucking cowboy thing, like an urban cowboy western.
Apart from the ending, I'd say in the ending it's kind of understandable. I think a lot of people have an issue with the ending.
I definitely have an issue with the ending, but that's okay. So he's fucking Lone Star bleeding. There he is.
Yeah.
Save the day by Riley. All that. Right. I get that ending, but in terms of just what's going on around it, it's all just cliques and different factions within the corrupt. Like
if it were a classic kind of Western setup, he would always be at odds with Harvey Keitel. But actually, what I found interesting on this rewatch, and I kind of quote unquote grew up watching the theatrical cut, which is like 15 minutes shorter.
Is it?
Yeah, it's quite a bit. I actually kind of half wonder, is it a little bit better? Because I remember when I was younger thinking this was really great.
So what's the length that you saw?
115 minutes. So 5 minutes shy of 2 hours. Basically, anything since the DVD, I think, has been theatrical. Sorry, the director's cut. I was surprised at rewatching it how in cahoots with them Sylvester Stallone is.
He knows everything. From
he is
start,
actually a corrupt figure. He isn't like a guy scared to say anything. He's actually corrupt. He's just a bit of a pussy. Like
no. See, that's where I disagree. I just think he's been broken down by life. And he's upset and he's sad and he doesn't know how to deal with it. And I do have to know here, Stallone. Yeah, you know me, my theories or my opinions on these kind of fucking big actors, other than maybe Bruce Willis, like the Schwarzeneggers and the Stallones and the Van Dammes of the world. Like, do you know what I mean? They can't act. And you know what me and my father think of Stallone and Rocky? It's just that's he's playing himself. Like he's just that stupid. Like, do you know what I mean? Whereas in this, I actually say he's so meek. And I think it is a fucking beautiful, nuanced performance. I genuinely
he's great
do.
in this. Yeah,
it's
I really
fucking
like him
truly
in this,
like.
No, well, you can't
really feel for him. Like it's a real, sensitive, nuanced performance. Like that's the way I put it. Like
he's very good, and he did. It was funny going back and reading it. Maybe there is a difference now between like the film press, even in the US and over here. I just remember reading nothing but positive things about it here, nothing but good things about this film. And when I went back and looked at some stuff from the States, there was like kind of not a bad buzz, but like I saw people saying, I didn't watch this because of some bad reviews. And I was like, huh?
Yeah, but see, because I like, not that I was unaware, but like, even he mentioned it in the round table that I watched that he wasn't happy with the previous 10 years work, like, do you know what I mean? And this gave him a real chance to kind of pivot and change tack and do something more dramatic. And like Demolition Man came out like 3 years before this, like, so I don't know what he's talking about. Like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
like
but do you know what I mean? I kind of understand it because he felt pigeonholed, and he actually said that I really enjoyed doing this. I had so much fun playing this part. But unfortunately, it set me back even further.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because
apparently
it was
shame,
a big. It didn't do well. Like, do you know what I mean?
It didn't do as nearly as well as they were hoping. Yeah, but I was surprised.
And it was such a micro budget for the cast, especially.
I was surprised at how not well it did. It did like okay. I think it made its money back, but I was like, this must have been really quite successful because it was a big thing, and I remember being psyched to see it and all this. But sometimes your own, like The Rules of Attraction, to me is a huge film because I love it. And I saw it twice in the cinema, and a lot of people are like, what? Who's in that?
Yeah,
what are you talking about? So it's hard to know, sometimes.
And especially with with a cast, like, do you know what I mean? Because I was very interested to see as well, because Ray Liotta obviously plays Figsy, who's one of the corrupt cops, but it seems to be the closest one in the town to Stallone's character, Freddie Heflin. And it was interesting to hear that they were typical kind of for the 90s, I think, is, I wanted your role, I wanted your role.
Yes.
So the thing is, Liotta could play the sheriff. There's no way in Christ Stallone could successfully play Liotta.
Can you fucking imagine? Yeah,
the kind of drunk, amped up cokehead, like he can't do it.
He was perfect casting,
but he was funny. But because it is just and it's something that really made me go, oh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe I have to rethink my whole opinion on these people.
What's amazing about Ray Liotta is he's so coked out and he's such a fucking...
It's like if Henry Hill didn't get nicked, like he ended up in this town, like, do you know what I mean?
What's great, like you still always are on his side and you're like, underneath it all, I can tell he's a decent fella, which there's nothing on the page that would tell you that.
No, and like, I suppose maybe this is the type of film that we can kind of jump around a bit because, I mean, it's difficult to try and contextualize and go through dramas pound for pound, but like for instance Figsy's characters getting kicked out with a group basically, Do you know what I mean? That's essentially something that's part throughout of it. And he's basically saying no. And we learn that was it his partner, Tully?
Yeah, his partner
ends up in the
was...
same, a kind of similar situation that Superboy ends up, Michael Rappaport's character ends up in, where he's done something fucking wrong that he shouldn't have done, and they're cleaning up after it. Do you know what I mean? And he blows up his own house to try and make it look like it's them or whatever.
He's not a nice guy.
Did you notice with the dialogue at the start, he's sitting down with Edie Falco in the bar, and they're talking about blowing up his house. So this is very early in the film. They're like, and he brings the thing to the mother he loves, and remember the bag that Stallone sees, the burn mark on? Yeah. That's what's being passed over in the very opening scene. Like,
it's he's
and he looks over. Stallone's playing the fucking pinball, like,
which is a real pinball game. It's like a Lethal Weapon pinball game. And
that's class.
Did they just make that up for the? No, apparently it was real. It's quite well written. Roger Ebert, who someone on YouTube was glad died in a huge amount of pain or something.
Yeah, like I mean, Roger
Ebert,
which was
a weird comment.
Yeah, no, but we spoke about his opinions on
Conan the Barbarian.
The ending of Conan the Barbarian, and safe to say that there's plenty of people on the planet or on the comments that did not agree with him.
I think that's
to say the least,
fairly safe to say. Yeah,
keep that engagement going.
Whether a man giving his opinion is worthy, but
you know what I found interesting is they were attacking us as if it was our opinion. You just basically said this is what Roger Ebert thought.
Ebert said it. To be fair, I don't know if it was in the clip, but I did say when he put it that way, I said you kind of go, oh yeah. Which is not me saying I necessarily,
because I never thought that. Do you know what I mean? And then when you said it, I even said, oh yeah.
Yeah.
When you put
it in black and white like that, forgive the phrasing. His thing was the film is a little overstuffed, and I don't actually agree. Copland, I think it's...
See, the thing is, I tend to agree, and I mean that from purely, not a story point of view, because I do think it can be slow at times in terms of its pacing, okay? But I mean, I think when you're dealing with such a big cast, that's what's going to happen. My problem in terms of it being too stacked is... there's certain characters that I don't think they either do not need to be there, i.e. say Peter Berg's character. Do you know what I mean? I really don't know what he's there for. Now I know they're trying to create the friction between Stallone and Randoni's wife, Peter Berg's character, and trying to make the kind of love story happen. Like, do you know what I mean? But I still just don't know why they need him cheating on his wife, and that seems like a true line throughout the whole film that I just don't need it. And I think it's probably one extra character, because you can easily make the kind of love his love interest happen without going so deep in with the fact that he's cheating on her with Ray's wife and what have you.
I did kind of like how much of an arsehole he is, but at the same time he's not.
That's just him.
He's not comedically. He's not comedically over the top. Like, you can kind of see, like, when I look at it, and I can kind of see it be like, oh, it's impossible, but you know, like, he did threaded a fine enough needle there, Peter Berg, who was a director I have major issues with.
Yeah. But one thing I wanted to point out here as well, just at the opening, because within the first two scenes, basically, the opening bar scene and Muddy Babbage, Michael Rappaport's character, leaving the nightclub, they are both piss drunk.
Yes,
like,
and they
Stallone, whatever about Muddy Babbage getting into his own car and driving off, that's up to him.
Yeah.
But Ray Liotta basically stands Stallone up, and he's like, and he goes, "Are you all right to drive?" He goes, "Yeah." And then, lo and behold, he crashes.
Well, Michael Rappaport has like an hour-long drive.
Back into New Jersey.
Now, my dad swore, I should say, that he drove home once with 13 pints in him on country roads. So it's possible.
Do you know what I mean? But imagine what Michael Ray is doing right now. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, my fucking brother, that could do. That's a real time capsule of a comment. No, I did want to say now, I found it's strange, because I would say, if you hooked James Mangold up to like a political reading machine, he'd be like this impeccable liberal. But when I rewatched this, and again, I will say I'm very glad I'm come from a country where the thing that happens to Superboy Babbage is essentially like, if it happened here, you would just be like, what the fuck was that cop thinking? Like, it's only in the USA that you could possibly, or not any country that's very violent and has an armed police force, that there's anything laudable to be said for what happens. He's driving home pissed drunk. Now, what I found weird was, again, James Mangold, I'm sure, is an impeccable liberal. Those guys sideswipe him on purpose. He's drunk. He doesn't like do it. They hit him on purpose. Yeah. And you're like, what's up with these fucking
that was
guys?
kind of a weird thing, I thought, because it's like, well, okay, so would the film be more effective if they weren't a couple of fucking lads causing issues?
Yeah.
Or is it holding up a mirror to us that we go, oh, well, they purposely sideswiped them. Maybe they're criminals.
Well, I wonder,
you know what I mean?
because you could actually say like it's making it a little more complex and less easy on the audience. Like if he had done it and then...
But I swear to God, it wasn't until I watched this a third time that I realised, because the scene that happens here, and this is an issue I have with the writing as well, I'm not always entirely sure what's just after happening. Not in a lot of cases, but sometimes I'm like, oh, hang on, oh yeah. Because like, it took me 3 times to realise, why is he planting a gun? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't get it because I didn't realise, and it was just because it's just a throwaway line. It's just a single line of dialogue or something. It's not there's not a back and forth even for a second.
Yeah.
So
no, someone does say they had a dialogue. No, I think what he was going for was like the reality of like what actually happened and all this. But I do remember watching it back like frame by frame on the VHS, going like, what did that guy have? Because it's such a weird... you don't normally see it in a movie. In real life, you'd be like, he did that, okay. Yeah. But in a movie, you need a little more...
It wasn't in the second watch that I noticed that when he's driving off, the fucking glass shatters on the path. When we first meet Robert Patrick and... Oh, he was a...
Oh, and that's why his tire blows out.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, I'd never put the two and two together. I just thought that was kind of an interesting detail. Actually.
That just happened, yeah.
And I do like how, and again, we talked in movies, people sober up awful quickly. He sees Robert Patrick and the other guy like puking their ring up outside. He's like, and then like 10 minutes later, they're like, hey, let's do this elaborate criminal conspiracy thing here. So what happens is, So again, I think they kind of want him to be slightly sympathetic to Superboy, because he does think he thinks that they shot at him. Now, I'm not saying anything about any real life fucking thing that happens that's similar to this. I'm just saying in the movie, he's a fucking dumbass who's drunk and he fucking just blows these guys away. And did you notice the other line though, when the ambulance guys are looking at them, they're like, what the fuck happened here? These guys are shot like 6 times.
Yeah.
What is the implication there? Like, did the other boys show up and fucking like just be like, finish him off, like, or what?
See, I know, I get you, because it's not clear again here, because he shoots and he hits the car and the car spins around.
Yeah.
But I don't even think he gets 6 shots off.
No.
Do you know what I mean? No. In that time, and then he crashes into them. And then it flicks straight to what's going on, and you're like, hang on, and then I was like, hang on, was it the crash that killed him, or was it do you know what I mean? I didn't get it, but I think that's a fantastic character and a real
the EMS
guy, because
I forgot to look him up because I know his face so well, and he's just immediately like amped up, and
because he's like, what the fuck are you doing, like, do you know what I mean? Because I know this is not right, like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, he throws the planted gun. He's like,
but that's it. But that's why. But without that character, it doesn't go forward.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as soon as they can put into the papers that these guys had a gun and they shot at them, but there's a lot of things as well that you have to kind of contrivances that you have to go along with. They'll just check the wheel. There's no bullets in the fucking wheel. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Multiple things that they check, and if a cop fell into a river or jumped, they would scour. They wouldn't stop, like. There'd be search parties and everything.
I have to give my hats off. We haven't talked about him yet. Harvey Keitel, he does pitch perfect bad acting. He's like, oh, he jumped. And you're like, he's set. I'm like,
that is the most amazing. One of the most amazing actors ever. He could make you believe he jumped if he wanted to.
If he wanted, but he's playing it like, this guy is just confident. He's not a good actor. This what's his name? Ray, Uncle Ray, they call him.
Yeah.
He's not actually a good actor, but he's not going to ever back down. Like, if he says this happened, that happened, and it's like perfect, because he's full of shit. But he's just gonna like, I'm not changing my story now. And I have to get my hat off as well to Robert Patrick, who's kind of he is fucking great in this.
Isn't it amazing how much? And I don't mean he aged, because it's just a haircut and a mustache. But it's amazing how much older he actually looks with facial hair compared to a couple of years before in T2. Like, you know what I mean?
He's so good.
Because it is just a haircut. Like, it's not that he's like gone on.
Yeah, well, the mustache kind of adds that kind of Irish American cop kind of thing.
He's so good in this.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
He's fucking...
They actually, I don't normally say this, but there's a deleted scene that he's great in, where again he's like, it's not very well done, so I kind of see why they did it. It's kind of seeing that, talking about the racism in the thing, and these two black guys are in a car driving through the town, like blaring music, and they're playing, like the cops are playing a baseball game, and they see these guys like, oh, what the fuck? And they chase after him, and like Freddie Stallone shows up, and he's like, hey, why don't everyone calm down? And Robert Patrick's like, no, what is this fucking shit? Check their fucking pockets right now. And he just plays this amped up, self-righteous fucking arsehole so well. It's a shame like it was cut, as I say, it's a little awkward. But he just plays this guy who's like, what's your fucking problem? What are you getting in my way for here? Like, what are you stopping me planting this evidence for? Just complete self-righteousness. No, like, what, you're not on my team? Like, what's your fucking problem? He's really brilliant in it.
Yeah,
and it's a bit of a shame he was kind of overlooked compared to everyone else.
Because that's the thing, like, I mean, obviously in a film with starring Keitel, De Niro, Liotta and Stallone, you're not going to get top billing or even above the title, like, do you know
I
want
to say he told a story of how he got it. Like, he was in town he was in whatever town doing publicity for another film, and he just happened to bump into someone, and he just said, "Oh, well,
when he got the script, can
I get in on it or whatever?" Yeah.
And what a stroke of genius, because I mean, it's one of them. This is one of them that, although Stallone amazing, De Niro amazing, Liotta amazing, Keitel very, very good, but I don't think there's better performances from Keitel. But everybody, there's something about Keitel in this that just, I don't know if he's just so good at playing the character that he's playing that makes me kind of not like him.
Okay, interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Because maybe that's why I'm saying he's not quite at the level as the rest of them, but maybe he is, or above that level, and I don't like the character.
I thought he was great in it, yeah.
But from the rest of them, Robert Patrick is probably the best of everybody else, I would argue.
I wouldn't have a problem with saying that, yeah.
Because everybody after that is like that, they're reaching heights like that.
Yeah,
they're just not given to doing other things, because there's a lot of care and focus. This is a real character-driven story, like, do you know what I mean? It's not like, that's why I say it's probably less a Western, like, do you know what I mean? It's funny talking about a Western. I always thought Logan, which James Mangold made years later, was a Western.
Yeah.
I always thought that.
That's more classic, like, as I say, in this, I'd never have seen a Western where the sheriff is kind of in cahoots with the local bad guy, and there's probably 5 fucking things, but that dynamic isn't the classic Western. Him, a man got to do what a man's got to do. That's a Western, but that's the very end. Yeah. Which we'll get to in due course. Yeah, I thought Harvey Keitel was very good. Initially I was like, it was nice to see him as himself, like, because remember we talked about From Dusk Till Dawn, which was actually before this, and he looks like 10 years younger in this, and he's he's like real, Harvey Keitel at the kind of height of his charm and powers, and you're like, again,
this is kind of plays like, he kind of plays it like, if I can't remember what colour he was in Reservoir Dogs now,
he's Mr. White.
Mr. White. Yeah. If Mr. White got away from the heist and went to a town in Garrison, like, do you know what I mean? I can see that, like, do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what's, again, like, there's nearly no difference between how they act and criminals and, like, mobsters, and I just thought that casting was very, very clever, yeah.
Because even even the way, like, when he's talking about Toby 1, that, I can see Ray sitting around that bar.
Yeah,
talking that shit, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I kind of always got not always, I got the vibe this week that, there's a lot of continuations here for some of these characters. Not that it was a conscious choice to do that or anything, but it's just, you could see, and it makes perfect sense now that you say it, because there's no discernible differences between either of them, really, like, in terms of the character.
Which
like,
I find interesting, yeah. He's actually funny. I want to say Harvey Keitel in this, what was it, 29 years ago? He would have been like in his late 50s, and he's always one of these guys quietly has never quite looked at. He's 87 now. Jesus. Like in The Irishman, he was 80 years old. He does not look at like it. He's like, now he doesn't look like he's in his fucking 40s, right? No, but you would not have guessed he was in it. Like, he's an elderly man in that.
Yeah, but maybe not as much cocaine and blow as some of the rest of them. Like,
perhaps not.
For instance, Pacino, like, you know.
Well, I was asking a mate of mine who knows a lot about CG, and I was like, have they de-aged him in this? Because he's 80 years old and he does not look it. And he's like, I don't know. You cannot tell, like, if they did,
because you'd know considering how bad the aging is elsewhere. Like,
it doesn't bother. A lot of people say that. There's one.
I hate the fat old man body, man. I can't deal with it.
Well, there's the one scene in that where it's a huge problem, but all the rest of it.
Where he's kicking the head off the guy.
Why they left it, I can't fucking.
Like that's Scorsese. Like, do you know what I mean?
I know there's a reason for it. I'm sure.
That's when that technology was just good enough that could be used that way. Like, do you know what I mean? So I mean, it's. You can forgive there being some... But I'll say this and I'll say it again. Anytime this comes up. Gemini Man. Terrible film. But that's how you do de-aging. Will Smith actually looks like he did in Fresh Prince. And he's fighting old Will Smith.
Jeez, I only saw it.
Because they must have put his face onto a teenager's body or something.
I think they did that, yeah. Well, Benjamin Button, I want to say, in a way, did it kind of better, but they did it in a way that, because Scorsese's thing, we're getting way off track here, but Scorsese's thing was, no, I want the actual actors, I don't want it to be a body double. And I am fine with that, and if people are like, I can't get over it, well, fair enough.
Know, like, I mean, when I say I can't get over it, I mean, I still enjoy The Irishman, like, do you know what I mean? But it will always continue to be a bugbear of mine that you were this close to just fucking making it so amazing.
I'll just forever love that, like, it gave legitimately great part, like the way Keitel, remember he's talking about the guy that there, he's like, you keep it, he won't need it. No, I'll give it back to him. He won't need it. And he barely changes the way he says it. And I remember seeing it in the cinema and everyone kind of go like, ooh, because you just knew it, like, great actors. Anyway, back to
Copland. Starting Harvey Keitel.
Yeah. So we covered the kind of intro to the Stallone character and like what sets up the inciting incident. And I had forgotten actually until I rewatched it. Stallone just sees the guy in the back of the fucking car. Yeah. He knows immediately. Now that's the kind of thing that I go, and I don't know if some of the stuff I'm going to talk about was cut out of the original cut I saw. Because my memory of the character was, as I think is kind of your take on it, was he's just a guy who's been kind of beaten by life into it. And that scene jives with that feeling is like, oh, I saw it, but like, what am I going to say? But there are scenes later. There's a scene I want to say where he goes, you know, Ray, you could invite me in a bit more. And that to me is like, come on, make me a little more corrupt.
But was that not him? Was that not at the time where he's thinking about taking these cunts down? Like, do you know what I mean? And maybe he wants to get in so he has evidence, because at this stage it's all hearsay, like, do you know what I mean?
Maybe, no.
And not only that though, but there is a scene which I thought it obviously, you see Muddy Babbage in the back of the car, and you're like, oh, like that's the film then. Do you know what I mean? That's but he has a scene later on with Ray Liotta where he goes, because obviously the reason he's also deaf in one ear and he can't, he's always jealous of the New York cops, which one of us mentioned at the start, I believe. Because he could never be on the force because he's deaf, because he saved Peter Berg's, Randoni's wife's character when they were teenagers, damaged his ear. And there's a great scene where he goes, if that happened today, I wouldn't stop it.
Yeah, that was good.
And it's like, oh my God.
That's very sad, yeah.
I wasn't aware of your depth, Mr. Stallone. Well done. Like,
no, he really is. He so really good. Is great, yeah.
And it's another great scene as well that I'll just bring up while we're on the subject, is when she... the woman he saved, the wife he saved, comes over to visit him, and she goes, why did you never get married? And he goes, what was it? All the best girls were gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, and she gives him a hug, and it's like, why would I give you a hug?
Yeah. No, he really is great in this, Stallone. Yeah, it is a shame. Actually, there was a bit, I think it was on that Charlie Rose show, where he was kind of talking about, in 1976, me and De Niro, like, he was on the marquee for Taxi Driver, I was on the marquee for Rocky, and he there was a moment where he goes like, and obviously our careers kind of went in different paths, and you could hear like this kind of tinge of regret in his voice, and I was like,
he wants to be taken more seriously.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't know that De Niro envies anyone's career, but you can kind of see, like, someone like Stallone who's a huge amount of success. You can kind of, I wish I was an Oscar winner or more of this or more.
Or taken more seriously, treated with a bit more respect. That's what I was saying at the start in the intro. Is like, this is a lot of the discourse I found online was, I just thought Stallone was a bleeding lump of muscle who shoots people and punches them through walls, and do you know what I mean?
If you read the reviews of the original Rocky, and again, the only one that I can remember is a Roger Ebert one, he was like, this guy could be the new Brando. Like, that is just an acting performance. Now, obviously, I take your point, he's kind of playing himself. No.
I say that because I grew up with a dislike for the Rocky films.
Right.
Not because I'd ever even seen them properly or anything. It's just because my dad hates them.
Oh yes, I remember you saying.
Yeah, no, because he hates Stallone for whatever reason. Like.
What I would say is there's something about the Rocky character that just seems very naturalistic, if you know what I mean. But at the time, it must have just seemed like now with Stallone, you just kind of go, well, that performance, and I'm not saying it did, but it seems like it kind of came easy for him. Whereas in this, he had to go back to his roots and fucking all this. But at the time, he was just like he could have had a De Niro-esque career.
It is sad when you think about it, but it's not sad because if he has a De Niro-esque career, we don't get fucking First Blood, like, you know what I mean?
I know, that'd be a shame.
And that would be a shame, like, do you know what I mean?
He's great in First Blood as well.
Yeah.
People do forget, like, that just seemed like an acting performance, like the scene at the start where he goes to his friend's family's house, and he's perfect, like, he's just like, oh yeah, we're friends. There he is in the picture there, and he's just this beaten down by life kind of sad guy. And then he made First Blood Part 2.
I know, yeah, but I remember, what was it, the 2008 one, Rambo? Yeah. Where he's like a boatman in Thailand or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I love me some Rambo, yeah.
I love that film. I found that quite enjoyable. But I also like his performance in that as well.
Yeah, no,
because that was the way it was very for the want of a better way to kind of keep us on track. It was a very kind of similar character performance as Freddie Heflin.
Yeah, no,
because he's just beaten down by life. He's quiet. He doesn't want to talk to anybody, and I think he's really good in that. Have your issues with the film, like, but that's one of them films where I think we spoke about this before. You can watch it with the sound off, like, you know exactly what's going on.
I think we must have. What Stallone film did we cover before? Because I do remember
Rocky IV.
Yeah. Because I'll repeat myself briefly. A cousin of mine saw Rambo on a bus in Vietnam, and he said he was dubbed in Vietnamese, and he said, I understood the film completely. That is not easy to do. Like,
that's absolute cinema. Like, I mean, that's exactly what you're meant to do.
Do the thing, yeah.
Absolute cinema.
And he is an esoteric guy, Stallone. I can't remember if I mentioned this, but on the commentary to what is not a very good film, The Expendables. But he's talking about, like, the scene to me wouldn't seem like anything spectacular. It was a bunch of the Expendables hanging out in a bar, and Stallone on the commentary is like, yeah, so obviously these guys are like trying to relate to each other, but they could never be, you know, like direct with each other and compliment them. So, you know, they find ways around it in their masculinity. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy's he's like, and I don't mean as in like, I'm surprised he's clever, but what I mean is, a scene to me that's just like, that's Mickey Rourke and Stallone talking bollocks. Yeah. He is like legit thinking, well, how do these guys relate to each other?
Talking to each other about which one is gay.
Yeah, and he's but he's intellectualizing it for a film that I think people are just like, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Well, you're not a fan of Expendables. I know they got rid of the fourth one for me, and the third and fourth one for me were fucking diabolical.
I really did like the first one when it came out, and I think I rewatched it then a few years ago, and I was like, oh my God, this is awful. But I must rewatch it again because it might have been.
See, the thing is, the whole point of the Expendables.
I did like the second one though.
The whole point of the Expendables was, we're going back old school, no CGI, real explosions. Yeah. And then the third and fourth one is just riddled with CGI explosions.
I gave up after the third one, to be honest. Yeah, I do remember, like, I really liked the first one when it came out, and I think I still kind of like the second one, even though it's got kind of issues and all this. The Liam Hemsworth thing, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. But is he the one who was is he the Miley Cyrus?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
How dare you treat my Miley that wrong? Like,
yeah. Oh, we get negative engagement. I'm totally on his side. I
love Miley Cyrus.
Sound off the comments. I think he was in the right. I've no idea what he did or what happened, but I'm just saying.
I can buy myself flowers.
Yes. There were a few. I had a class full of young ones 2 years ago, and they were all the big fans of that song. And I was like, all right, ladies, I'm not going to argue. You tell me what's up. Back to the film at hand, which we kind of got off track.
We didn't go too far off track. We're talking about Stallone.
We're talking about Stallone, yeah. So the film, if it sounds like we're kind of skipping over stuff or we're kind of going and then blah, 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 it's not. It does weave together the town very well. I think it introduces people really quite well. And I remember the shorter version, as I say, being quite good.
So what's the shorter version to you? The hour 45? Or?
The hour 40. It's just an hour 40, I want to say. And that's it. I think actually what maybe works about it is that must have focused more on Stallone. Because he is so strong. That's the version I watched. Yeah, even in like the longer version, and it is an ensemble cast, he's clearly the main character and kind of the moral anchor or whatever. So there's the conspiracy of, and I like how it's set up that they have their own little ecosystem. Like there is absolutely no chance of anyone cracking and speaking. it's just not on the cards. Like they're not worried about anyone ratting them out or anything. It's just like, well, obvious, we're all in on this. Like they even have a fucking party for the guy after his
funeral. Like, so that was the most ridiculous thing ever because nobody's going to drive by and go, what's going on in there? Because the fucking sheriff is.
Yeah, it is. I saw some comments from people that they took it a little too far, I think, in how they read it. Was like, is it only cops in this town? I didn't get that feeling, but I did get the feeling like, you know, every second house is a cop's house or something like that. Yeah.
Like, I mean, but at times we don't really see anybody else.
No, you don't.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like even Noah Emmerich and is Noah Emmerich? Is that the guy? He's his deputy.
Oh yeah, the Truman's best friend from Truman Show. Yeah. I forget his name actually. Yeah.
Noah is something. Noah Emmerich. Yeah. But him, Janine Garofalo, they're the only real cops. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and when I say real, like there's a scene of pure heightened misogyny when Janine Garofalo pulls them over.
Yeah.
And some of the things because she's like, no, that's not my first time on the job. I've been here before. It's my first time here. Like, do you know what I mean? And he goes, if we didn't pull over PD, nobody would get it. And she's giving it back to them. Yeah. And yeah, man, Robert Patrick just can't help but like tell. Well, I can't remember the line he says.
He says something like, I'm John McEnroe or something. We're just coming back from the tennis or something.
Yeah.
And they have the guy in the fucking back. Like, would you not just cop on and fucking...
But it's not even that, but he says something that even made me... Ugh, that was real uncalled for. Like,
I can't remember now. Yeah,
because he does say something, and she goes, "That's uncalled for." Or she says, "There's no need for that."
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, and even Harvey Keitel, who's like the mature one, even he's just like, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like, you know, like I have a badge.
Because you see, because they completely ignore her. It's like Freddie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's like, get away from me, woman.
Get over here. Yeah, and then Stallone is just like, "Oh, is it a new car?" And you're like, "Yeah," he's just complete pussified, and you're like, "Oh, Jesus." Yeah.
And one thing as well, before we kind of dive deeper into the middle and end of the film, how many times, what is the point? Why did so many characters ask him what happened to his nose? What was the cheap? And how come every time we saw him in the first 40 minutes of this film did he have a different bandage on?
I actually this time I was watching it going, oh, that's actually a way to show the passage of time. That's a little bit kind of clever, I suppose. But yeah, it doesn't heal. That must have been a real pain in the fucking hole, like getting it put on every day. Yeah. I think it's just to show like he has to lie about it. Like he's so pathetic because he's like, oh, just a little fender bender there. Yeah.
We're chasing the speed.
Yeah. See, you are good at impressions. There you go. So there's a little bit of like the kind of I think incestuous is the only word for it. Like with all the cops and in the town. So you mentioned Annabella Sciorra is the love interest. She's like, oh, someone's been dumping trash. And it's funny actually on the commentary track, Stallone is like, he took this very seriously, but he's actually quite funny. He's like, oh, look, she mentions this, and like Freddie, like he flips out his little note. He's like, really? Oh, there's someone's jumping, as if it actually matters a fuck. Like, you know?
Then she says that my husband will sort it out, and he goes, no, he's worrying about the city. Like, you know, he's hyping him up to his love interest. Like, that's essentially like what a meek man.
Jesus,
like.
Yeah. And it's such perfect casting for like Peter Berg, like who plays arsehole so incredibly well. You're like, can you imagine like fucking like your dream girl is Peter Berg? He is so. I love the scene where he's introduced and him and Ray Liotta are arguing, and they're both so fucking obnoxious. Like, but you're still like, Peter Berg's way worse.
Yeah. Fucking... No, but I actually like Ray Liotta. Like,
I know, yeah.
His character, like, there's something about Figsy though as well, which I think it's a depth that's just maybe wasn't on the page. Although I do think his character work in this Mangold in terms of writing was very good. It falls away with some of them, like, but you just can't have so many characters. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Edie Falco being one, like she's essentially what seems like could be a decent character. Turns out that she was just there to give the bomb.
In the two scenes, I think. Yeah. I do actually. I can't remember.
Why get
Edie
Falco? Like, I mean, maybe she, look, or maybe I'm looking at this through rose colored glasses and says maybe she was absolutely nobody in '97. I don't know. Like, do you know
I want to say she. I have a memory of kind of half recognizing her when I saw it. Now she wouldn't have been on The Sopranos yet, obviously, but I remember kind of half knowing who she was. I could be completely misremembering it, but yeah, everyone is someone in this, which is saying something. Yeah, I just like I get Peter Berg, like very good casting there. Another person in real life who maybe mirrors the character. Who's to say? But there's a lot of like this kind of back and forth, and then we find out that Harvey Keitel's wife is banging Peter Berg, who they never make it clear, I don't think, whether Harvey Keitel actually knows about that.
Because it does come up as well. Because once Muddy Babbage, long and behold, like, ultimately they're going to have to kill him because they can't cancel the investigation unless they find the body.
Yeah.
So he escapes and Peter Berg is asked for help. And then and there's a big argument in the bar. And it's like, is this about something else?
Yeah,
like,
and Keitel doesn't really react to that.
He just looks at him.
Yeah.
But like, it's never even hinted at. It's hinted at by Berg's dialogue. But his reaction doesn't make you go, there's not even a twinkle in his eye. Like,
knows,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and even that there's two funeral scenes, and there is a bit where one of them, like Peter Berg is like, Annabella Sciorra is looking at Peter Berg and he's looking at Kathy Moriarty and she looks at him, and then Keitel kind of, but he doesn't play it obviously as in like, you know, which again speaks to what a good actor he is. Yeah. And narrows his eyes. But then I did find it, so we're skipping all over the place, but what the hell? They try and kill Superboy, but Kathy Moriarty sets him up. By the way, did you know Debbie Harry was cut out of this film?
Yeah, I read that now.
Which I find, look, no, it wouldn't be racist because they're both white. I'm like, who the fuck put her and Kathy Moriarty in the same film? Because they look fucking identical.
Yeah.
They're both nearly exactly the same age. Very good looking women with blonde hair. She's That's like true, a bartender or something. She was pretty much cut out of it, but you can see her in like one shot, I think, or something like that. And she was, whatever stuff was just cut out kind of. But if you'd have told me Kathy Moriarty was Debbie Harry, I'd be, in my mind's eye, I'd be like, yeah, is that right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They look very, very similar. Like, but she's great, Kathy Moriarty, just that kind of like, ugh.
Yeah, suburban wife hates every minute of it. Like.
You know, she hates Harvey Keitel's gut. Yeah. Just everything about her tells you like, ugh. I'm fucking so over this, these stupid bastards fucking and all this. Look, it's a nice house and all this, you know. I do actually like, there's a bit with Stallone where, because De Niro's questioning him, he was like, oh, you know, none of these guys wear silk shirts. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, these guys have sold their soul to the devil and they live like this boring suburban existence. And you're like, what the fuck? Like,
but that's because they get to do whatever they want. That's the point.
That's true,
that's why I have such an issue with the fucking ending. But
we'll get there. We'll get there
eventually.
Well, apparently, I'll get to that at the end. There is a good scene with De Niro and Keitel, and apparently they nearly wasted a whole day on this because
in the coffee shop, the news agents, like,
they were going to argue
the grocery store,
or whatever the fuck,
because
there was a huge argument who should walk in first. And apparently and I don't know that it was an argument, but you could kind of tell, like, you know, no one was backing down here. So De Niro was apparently like, I should walk in, and Keitel was like, no, because I'm the guy. And, you know, I think legit interesting comments, but apparently they lost a whole day, which would have been expensive. And as it is now, De Niro walks in. It's a very low key, good kind of a scene.
Because I like the fact that he walks in and he doesn't know he's in there.
Yeah.
It's all kind of natural because he walks in and he's just kind of spinning around and he's looking around like.
Well, it's one of those things where I was like, when you watch it, you go, well, it's Harvey Keitel's town, so he should be there. And De Niro walks in and he's the intruder.
Yeah.
But then I'm kind of like, if I've Harvey Keitel going to me, but Seamus, I'm just saying, you know, like, doesn't it lose my power in the scene? Wouldn't I be like,
yeah, you're
yes,
right.
You're right, Mr. Keitel.
Yeah. And then Robert De Niro goes, no, but hang on.
Whoa. It defeats its own purpose. And you'd be like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. You're right, too.
What do I do? But when you see it, like, you're just like, that just seems right. But the scene is very well written because they're both like jabbing at each other, but they're never saying anything that is like, hey, I'm so-and-so, like, yeah. And then he walks out and Keitel's like, fucking rat.
Yeah. It's like,
he's like...
No, because even the thing, like, where he's like, oh, that's why you went to OEA because of some redhead or something like that. And it's like, you can then go, oh, is that what happened, is it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
that was like, good,
and you got real De Niro face, like, that happened, yeah.
Oh, it's great, yeah. And then the other big scene is, I think it's at the funeral with De Niro. He's kind of talking to Stallone. I love how they just come in and they're just like looking through all of his stuff, and they're just like, what are you going to do?
Is this where he meets Frank Vincent though as well? Where because it's like
that's great.
Ray is trying to butter him up. It looks like because I think it's starting to crack because he's asking too many questions and stuff now, so he has to kind of give him a carrot. And he introduces them to Frank Vincent.
That's great, yeah. And there's a lot of little subtle stuff going on because, you should call me. And he's like the classic gangster, like from fucking Go. But you know, there's a guy behind him then who's like, we got a
fucking shine box.
Yeah. That is so fucking brilliant. But there's I recognize the actor as well. I don't know his name, but there's a guy behind Frank Vincent who, when he says, "Oh, you should call me," the guy behind him's like, we gotta go here. And he's like, you don't want to get involved in that. Like, you don't make comment. So like everyone is kind of
aware.
There's layers and there's like, you know, there's a guy who's handling him, and you know, he's the guy, but Ray's the guy who knows people who can handle these things, and it's like very, very good.
Is Frank Vincent the mayor?
No, he's like the head of some kind of union or something like that. Okay. But it seemed to be like,
that's just one of them things that have issues with the writing. It's not abundantly clear what's going on.
I just took it as like he's someone high up in the cops that could potentially do
team
something.
Or whatever.
Obviously very. You cast Frank Vincent, like, well, that guy's corrupt.
Sure, he's a lovely. Was a lovely guy.
Oh, the way he's like, he can shine. You should make it look like fucking mirrors. Hello, Tommy. Oh my fucking god!
But see, but maybe it's again like I said at the start. I never saw it as a western. I saw this as like the cop version of like a Goodfellas, or a Godfather, or something like that. Obviously not to those levels, but you know what I mean. Like in terms of the character work and stuff. And but I can never. I'm debating it now. Is it just because Frank Vincent's in it and these people that I'm inferring this?
No, there is definitely like that is not. But I'd love to know.
I'd love to see it from Mangold's eyes, just for even for a second, just to understand where he's coming from with this whole urban cowboy western nonsense. The ending of it we know, but
he strikes me as a western aficionado. So he'd be like, "Oh, it's like in this film or that film."
Like, see, I know Unforgiven and a fucking fistful of dollars, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, one that came to my mind now, and I'm kind of underseen on westerns, would be The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. But even in that, the cowboy character is just someone. It's John Wayne, so he's like, well, I know what's right and I know what's wrong, and I'm going to stand up for it. Like, there isn't a typical thing of a weak sheriff who fucking has to eventually figure something out, like that is a Western thing of, you know, a man's got to do what a man but that's usually like, I'm a very violent man and I just don't want a part of that anymore. Like, there's a little bit like he reinvented it a bit, but at the same time, I think that's why some people have issues with the ending. Like, where did that fuck come from?
It's a different thing, like.
I
think there's a great scene here because we're kind of in the middle where actually we missed when after he leaves the grocery store, De Niro meets Freddie Heflin for the first time, Stallone's character. And it's a nice little back and forth because he kind of just...
Excuse me, that's good. Yeah, I thought you gave me a ticket and stuff. Like, like he's so incompetent.
He's just out of it. and then out of nowhere, you hear the glass smash and it's kids fighting, and he's like, do you know what I mean? And he just goes and sorts it out.
Go on, get out of here,
But you know what I did enjoy? There's life in him when he's doing that. Go on, get up to the park there. Go. So that's a real... cool detail, like, so there is life in the old fucking man, like, you know what I mean?
you can kind of tell he's probably actually pretty good at being the sheriff, like in a small town where he doesn't have to really, like, not being an arsehole kind of gets him
he has
far.
Time to, like,
and he's
deliver
like,
turtles and fucking
apparently actually the turtle thing, did you...
I saw it in the round table,
said, like, he said on the commentary, he said something slightly different, but he said essentially he kept a little turtle in his pocket because he saw Freddy is kind of like a turtle, like the turtle that holds up the world, he said in one thing I heard.
So, some mythology, some version of somebody's mythology believes that the turtle holds up the world with its hard back. And
that's kind of how we saw. And even the way he walks is amazing. Like, he lumbers. And
that's why we haven't mentioned either. There's a physical performance in this. Like, you know, he put on a load of weight as well.
We didn't even mention it. That was the big thing. He put on, was it 18 kilos or something like that? Which was, for a man with his kind of way of going on, was no small feat.
Just stop doing the steroids for a week.
That'll do it. What was it, pancakes or something?
I read that. A local diner, that's all he ate.
Like, that sounds all right to me.
For
a part, so he meets he has a good first meeting with De Niro. Then they have a bigger scene in his office where he's kind of like, that's the scene where he goes, it's like you're the sheriff of Copland, which is in every fucking trailer for the...
But also, this was his first day shooting. And what I love is so the sandwich thing with the napkins, and he's like, that's not written down.
That's brilliant.
That was De Niro.
Yeah.
this is what's said, but that was De Niro. Like, I'm gonna fucking let's see what you can do. Like, do you know what I mean? And you can see Stallone's mid sentence, and then he starts going on about napkins and sandwiches, and you can literally see where he's like, that's natural. That's Stallone going, what the fuck? But he handles it miraculously well. Like,
they're brilliant. What's great about the scene I found was De Niro is playing it like I'm ignoring you, and Stallone's character can't fathom that, so he just says, "What are you doing?" He doesn't like go, "Okay, this guy is ignoring me. I'll just kind of go along with that." He's like, "I don't understand here." Like, he's not sophisticated enough in a way to deal with what he's doing. So
he's been ignored his whole fucking life.
Yeah,
like,
and
you know what I mean?
And there's a great, it's again, I think in all the trailers, this is the real De Niro, but it's like, "I gave you a chance to be a cop and you blew it." And the way he says it, you're like, perfect. Prime De Niro.
Yeah,
amazing stuff. Oh, fucking use it. That's very good stuff.
Yeah.
But what a great, there was apparently like, was it the scene?
But even this guy, sorry,
working or
just
something?
to interject. But even the guy, his partner, the IA partner, very good actor. I don't have his name now.
Yeah, there's a weird thing on, I forget, did I see it on IMDb or something, where like it was weird, like Harvey Weinstein like tried some shenanigans to get him in the film. Like, he apparently said to James Mangold something like, Robert De Niro insists that he's in the film, and then Mangold was like, "Hey, Mr. De Niro, what's up with this?" And Deere's like, "What are you talking about? I never said that." Oh, if he wants to do it, he has to audition. And Harvey Weinstein was really finagling to get that guy in there, which I found very weird. Like, I'm like, why that guy in that part? Like, that's kind of odd.
We spoke about Joel Schumacher a couple of weeks ago.
One
how
wonders,
fellas got their starts.
Yeah, you wonder sometimes, is it just, who the fuck are you to tell me anything? Like, he wasn't like, look, I'm not, Jesus Christ, look, I caned for this. He was obviously a very despicable guy, but Harvey Weinstein did.
He knew the business.
He did. There's actually like, I remember reading this. There was like a secret recording of him and some other producer, and this is years before the whole sex thing broke, where he was going like, "Oh, well, the difference is between us and we actually love movies." So he did actually. Now, he seemed like someone who was like very severe mental health issues some of the time, to be perfectly honest. But he did have a passion for film, so it's possible like he's just like, "I just think this is the best guy. I'm gonna lie and fucking cheat." Because James Mangold as well was saying,
"Oh, you wanted some head."
Or possibly, yeah. I mean, I know which one I'm leading towards, to be perfectly frank. But and actually, I want to say, I don't know if it was ever confirmed, but I saw someone make a comment about Annabella Sciorra. She like, because her career never really.
She must have
after this.
She mustn't have thanked Harvey.
Yeah, so I don't know. You fucking wonder, don't you?
Do you ever see the supercut of all the actresses thanking Harvey Weinstein?
No. Oh Jesus.
Oh, like, I mean, it is dark. Like, we're not going to get into it because I don't think we have the following to lose it yet.
No. It is. I think did I mention this on a previous podcast though? What I can't fathom or wrap my head around is someone in his position, and I'm like, wouldn't your ego stop you? Like, saying to it, I can see, now I'm not saying it obviously it's terrible, I can see an arsehole like him being like, "Here, sleep with me and I'll give you the job. Don't, and I'll ruin your career." But what I can't get over is you have to, don't you lose some respect for yourself here? I'm like, "She didn't fuck me. Hang on, get me phone out here. Hello? Yeah, no. Don't hire that fucking." No. I am like, to go through with it and actually follow up on a threat like that, I'm like, that is pathetic. Like,
it is pathetic, but you don't feel it that way. Do you remember when John Cena came out on stage naked and everybody thought it was a humiliation ritual and all?
Oh, yes.
And you made the point that he wants people to look at him. He's not humiliated by that. So on the same token, Harvey Weinstein wants this, and if you don't give it to him, it doesn't matter what he'll do to tear you down. Maybe that builds his ego. So I find that that's the power thing. It does build his ego.
I genuinely understand the words coming out of your mouth, and I've no theory of mind of what was going on in his head. I just be like, all right, fuck me. Like, what am I supposed to do? We got Harvey, but apparently he is. I think the guy's good. I don't know what the fuck Weinstein was on about, but like, he's as I say. You heard those stories about like he spilled M&Ms on the floor and he get down on his hands and knees and eat them up off the floor? Stuff like this.
No.
He was the guy's a fucking lunatic.
On that bombshell.
Yeah. Hashtag
free Harvey.
Yeah.
We haven't had a good film in 20 years, 10 years.
And I'm sure Bob is a real upstanding human being. So... yeah, we kind of go from... there's a great bit in the scene where and there's a weird bit I want to talk about. So they try and kill Michael Rappaport's character, who's someone we should maybe talk about briefly. There's a great bit in the scene where, wasn't it? Yes, Peter Berg shows up late and he's like, I thought you were going to set him up with a new life. And Harvey
you think that of me?
Yeah, Harvey Keitel goes, you think I'm all that, Ray? And you're like, that just says like, we're like, that's kind of good. They're just like small time fucking thugs, like basically. Now, I do find it very weird where there's real tension now between Peter Berg and Harvey Keitel. And the way James Mangold, who wrote a very good and subtle script, resolves it is this psychotic black man attacks Peter Berg in the most violently psychotic way I've ever seen.
I might say.
Yeah.
He's not just a psychotic black man.
He just now, it's contrived a bit by Harvey Keitel's character, but he just gets killed by this guy basically. And I was like, that's a bit weak, innit? Like, that's a bit... Now, I think you wanted to add a little dimension to make it more like, well, you can kind of see why these guys don't want to live in the city.
but no, that's true though, because it is great though. Why doesn't one of the other cops? And did you know up to this point that they were just fucking sword and shield?
When I was rewatching it, I was like, Jesus, Harvey Keitel's just a uniform cop.
Yeah. I thought they were like detectives or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, I still, you're dead right, it's a contrivance because he's starting to try to pick the lock because he notices him. And one of them cops, if they really cared, he's not that big of a don that he's going to kill Robert Patrick for kicking the door down, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it is a bit of a contrivance. But what are you going to do?
Well, that's like, at least he had some part in it, but I am like, this is just blind chance that this guy showed up because he's very good in it actually. He just plays it like a total psychopath. But I just like, this is how you're going to solve that plot thread. Like they're not going to, now granted, the scene where it's all like, hey, we got a 9/11 or whatever on the top of the building. Hey, what's going on, Ray? I'm sorry, Peter Berg. It's just, that's horrible and that's a cliche.
That's like 1932. Humpty Bogart. Like, do you know what I mean?
So you can't do that, to be fair. Yeah. But what they did do, I was like, that's a bit weird, man. Like, what the fuck? And it is like, again, another black character who's like, what the fuck's this? What's this guy's problem? Jesus Christ.
But there is a great scene then following that where kind of Freddy's he's making his decision. He's going to go for it, like, do you know what I mean? And he's talking with Randoni's wife, Peter Berg's wife, and she fucking absolutely cooks him and annihilates him.
Yeah.
And sweet Jesus, I just felt terrible for him because it's basically like, what'd she say? Don't you dare, like, I mean, who cares? Because she's basically going, do you know anything about corruption and all this? He's basically trying to gather evidence. He's basically trying to be a cop. And she's like, if you'd never walked in his shoes and all this, and she goes, maybe that's what they're trying to do now and all this. And I'm like, hang on for a second, we'll be right back. Do you know what I mean? Like, I swear I won't
she's
say
a bit rough on him. She's going through a lot to be someone nice.
But Jesus Christ, this man saved her life.
True, yeah.
Bit of bleeding respect.
He does blank her at the very end though, which I suppose is fair enough. So we go from there, and
King.
I was actually wondering, was this a fucking reshoot or something? Where I found it a little bit too. He just goes and knocks on the door, and Kathy Moriarty is like, "Oh, fuck off," and he goes, "I'm his only chance." And then the idea is she just
we missed the whole thing of where Murray Babbitt shows up to his house.
Oh yeah, we did miss that.
Because there's a lot of great stuff here between Liotta and about Zig. Turn right when you get to a red light.
Yeah. Oh, he's so intense. You
can follow a man by walking in front of him and all this. And he's saying all this mad shit that it makes you go, hang on, what?
Yeah.
But it makes fucking sense.
Lay off the fucking blow there, mate. Yeah. But you're right. It makes sense though as well.
And like, you don't drive up Broadway to get to Broadway and all this, like, do you know what I mean? And there's all this shit, and like when you actually think about it, it's like, oh yeah, like it does make sense.
I like that whole thing of how he just moves into his gaff.
Yeah. So but he has a great line here as well. The truth isn't a bulletproof vest.
Yeah,
what a line.
That's a great line. Yeah.
What a line.
No, and he's becomes very. He must have been cut out a bit because I do remember when the first time I saw this, which a long time ago. I do remember like kind of half being surprised that he showed up at the end. So I'm thinking to save the day kind of, and I was like, did they cut him a bit? I'd have to go back and watch it. It is actually kind of hard to track down, I think, these days, but I've the taped off Sky VHS somewhere.
Oh no, yeah. The version I watched was hour and 40.
Was it?
Yeah.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
How did you get your hands on that? No, I want to say I looked it up, and I want to say I looked it up, and like on some Blu-rays, both versions are available. The one I got, I've got the US one for whatever reason, and it wasn't on that. It was just the director's cut. Interesting. Because I actually remembered liking it more back in the day. So make it out what you will. So then, yeah, I found I'm all for people doing the right thing. But Freddie's tactic at this point seems to be, hello, Ray, I'd just like to let you know I have someone in my possession who'll put you in jail for the rest of your life. And just kind of FYI.
Yeah, just letting you know.
Now, there is, in his defense, he goes there to be like, here, let's do the right thing here, you know, come in with me. And Keitel does have a legitimately great kind of monologue here, and it's like the difference between men and boys, and your plan is the plan of a boy, Freddie.
Yeah.
And you're like, nice. And he plays it so like, look, just let me tell you the facts of life here, son. And I think even there's a nice bit where he goes like, so 6 o'clock it is then. And you're like, yikes, wouldn't want to be you at 6 o'clock. Yeah.
And then this is where he goes out to the car and then he's threatened.
Yeah, that's actually earlier on.
Okay,
that's earlier on, because the bit I'm talking about in the bar is like right before.
Oh, that's right.
That's actually after he gets rapport.
So I mean, there's not a whole lot else to.
No, there again. If it seems like we're like, you can skip over that. Like when
it's not about skipping over it, because I mean, you have to remember that this isn't. It's not a big set piece film by any stretch, but there are beats that you do absolutely have to hear, and the rest is all character driven. Yeah. It's all kind of so the reason why kind of. Might seem the same way is it's because you can. Yeah. Not when you're watching, obviously. But.
So then we get to this is a bit where
did you get a feeling at this stage that Noah Emmerich, his deputy, was in on it? Like, see when he's talking to his wife on the phone, I was convinced that. Hang on, this fella's in on it. Like he's talking to Harvey Keitel.
I thought he was well cast, and he's just like a weak-willed guy who's like, I'm not cut out for this.
Yeah.
Freddie's like, okay. Well,
I thought he was gonna pop up. Like, do you know what I mean?
That would have been good actually, because he wasn't kind of weaselly. That guy. Would have been nice to see him get wasted. But sure, there we go. I do remember now. This is where it does become kind of a Western. You know, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. He's going in with the shotgun and all this. Why he had to wait till 6?
No, but the issue here that I have with this, right, and the kind of whole ending, because I get right. It's a big contrivance just to get Mangold the ending that he wanted. Maybe not the one that's best for the film. Do you know what I mean? Because he can go out like a G and the fucking cowboy he was always meant to be by killing Robert Patrick and then the other guy.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel. Well, no, first of all, why is he walking out the door the way he's walking out? Like, surely you'd have you'd call ahead to New York and they'd bring in some fucking helicopter or something. Do you know what I mean?
It could be handled a bit better.
Do you know what I mean?
Stuff, yeah.
Or at least, Robert De Niro would know that you have the perp. Do you know what I mean?
That would have been a good idea. Yeah.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
Because obviously he's ambushed and he's taken away, and then there's
like call the media, like this guy.
And not only that, but I feel terrible as well because of the character that Stallone is playing when he fucking shoots the gun next to his gut ear.
Oh yeah,
right, and that breaks me heart. But so obviously he's marching up. He gets the Reyes gaff, and I did like there's cops staring at him on the porch, like, oh no, it's all about to come down, like, and. But he gets there, it's the big epic ending. Bang, 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 bang. Ray, he's about to get shot by Ray. Ray Liotta shows back up after running off, which we haven't actually mentioned we've found out now that he blew up his own house and he accidentally killed his girlfriend.
Yeah.
But it's the big epic ending. Right? The way you kill a character like Harvey Keitel's is you drag him in front of the newspapers and you lock him up. That's how you kill these characters. You could have your ending Mangold by killing Robert Patrick, who has the worst death face I've ever seen in anything. As good as he is in this film, his death face is too much.
The problem is it's all done in slow motion, which makes it a little bit silly. And it like Robert Patrick comes out and he literally goes like, "Oh, fuck!"
Yeah. But see the reason I kind of got over the slow motion is because it's trying to really make you know that he's out of sorts with his hair.
I get the idea. Yeah. It's just I thought it was a little. it does put into sharp relief. I can't. The guy who wrote Chinatown, William Goldman, who was I read this book he wrote about script writing once, and he wasn't talking about this film, but he was making a point of like, there's basically two kinds of films. Now I forget what he called one of them, but he basically said there's serious films and then there's comic book films, and he wrote it in like the 80s or something. He said he didn't literally mean like a Marvel movie even at the time, but he meant like films that are not realistic. So for example, he said like The Deer Hunter, he says everyone loves the deer. It's a comic book movie because at the end what happens, he flies into Saigon and finds his friend playing fucking Russian roulette. Like that's a comic book contrivance. The ending of it, like the whole film is kind of comic booky because it's larger than life, like all these cops living in a town and all this. And I think a lot of people were really disappointed because they was like, I was really expecting a non-comic book movie. And then the ending is just like, no, it's a comic book movie. It's a cowboy movie.
I get what you mean.
And I think actually it would have supported a non-comic booky kind of ending.
There's
and I'm Mr. Action, like, you know.
No, I know, but the one I would have liked to see, he kills Robert Patrick, which is fine.
Yes.
But he captures Ray and arrests him. He goes to New York as well.
Well, so who does he kills?
Because people like that get away with it. That's it. That's him. Because these kind of guys, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That's his last thought in his head. Oh well, nothing's happened. He's seen no consequences.
True. Yeah. Well,
that's my big issue with it. Like,
yeah, I remember actually watching it as well. So the first guy I think he kills or he shoots is the guy who was actually a cop in real life. That guy. Then Robert Patrick, and then he kills a guy who I don't think had been in the movie since the fucking scene on the George Washington Bridge.
That's right.
So I remember where the fuck did he come
This was stupid as well because they had to give him enough time to get off a shot or to get Ray Liotta to turn
like
up.
Doing this.
Yeah, because he shoots and then the next shot is him.
Yeah, with the gun like mad. Yeah, it all looked a bit silly, like the whole thing. Yeah,
and then Ray Liotta shows back up, who had been running off, like
there's a good scene with him just before that where he's like, and it's very believable because Ray Liotta's so into the character and he's like looking at himself in the mirror, he's like, shut the fuck up, and he's like in his mind, he's like, you're a fucking asshole. He's like, oh Jesus. So they show up, and there was one little. I completely take your point. There was one nice detail in the bit where Harvey Keitel gets killed, where there's like a shot of his wife with the dog and it's like this perfect, like I'm completely miserable, but I'm in suburban bliss, and she's like, whoa,
yeah.
And you're like, that's the destruction of the whole thing in a shot, which is good.
There is in terms of Freddy's character arc. Because obviously he's deaf now because the guns that they're going off.
Yeah.
There's a great thing where Keitel says something but you don't know what he says and he just goes, I can't hear you. Yeah. And that's like, even if I could hear you, I'm not listening anymore. Like I've broken the spell. Like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Must go back because I remember when I rewatched it this time, in my mind I was like, I remembered distinctly you could read his lips and he's like, you fucking rat. And then when I was watching, I was like, I don't think that's what he said. Where did you get that fucking idea? It's like, Jesus. So I wonder, like, in another version that I don't think, if you saw the hour 40, it is just a version I must have gone up watching.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like,
so I must try and dig out that VHS.
I wasn't actually trying to lip read. Like, do you know what I mean? When I was watching
my memory was, he said, you fucking rat. And then he's like, I can't hear you, Ray. But when I watched it for this,
and again,
like, no, that's not what he says.
Here's another stupid bit, right? The film doesn't completely derail itself by any stretch. Even though it might sound like we're kind of going that way. But like when Ray Liotta is at the bottom of the stairs and he shoots up, right? He shoots, there's a beat. And then Harvey Keitel walks out of the way of the bullet. Like, so there's a...
It is a bit... He
mismatch
he got better at the action as he matured.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Did he do 3:10 to Yuma? Wasn't that him?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
I think he did.
That's the Christian Bale one, is it?
Christian Bale, Russell Crowe.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if he directed it.
I want to say it was him, but I could be wrong. Because I remember people having an issue with the ending of that as well, funny enough.
No, just X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's...
Oh, he did, yeah. Sorry, trilogy. I was getting... No, it was X-Men Origins. Is that the really terrible one?
Yeah. And then it's the one where he went to Japan.
Yeah, which is good.
Huh?
The Wolverine. Yeah.
And then he did Logan. Now, Logan for me is an absolute... It's a modern classic in my eyes. Like I think that's what comic book films in the Marvel sense can be. They don't all have to be theme park rides as.
Well, I remember for
Scorsese
years
says.
being like, why if there because a lot of people this bit in X-Men 2 and all this, and I remember always being like, why has there never been an amazing Wolverine action scene? Except I do love the bit on top of the bullet train in the Wolverine.
Yeah.
And then in the first like minute of Logan, where he's like, because it's an R-rated film, and he's like legit killing the guys, I was like, oh, that's why. Because it always had to be whoosh. Whereas in Logan, he's like stabbing them, not slicing at them. And I was like, oh, it's as simple as that. Like, you're just missing out on like the
what an opening to a film,
thing.
though.
Yeah.
Like, the opening to Logan where he's asleep in the back of the limo and the fucking lads. Funnily enough, a lot of Mexicans this time robbing this guy.
What's up, James Mangold? He has millions of scripts at home that are impeccably liberal and anti-racist, and they never get made. And then all this.
But so then obviously long story short, they bring Murray Babbage to...
Yeah. Well, we talk a little about Michael Rappaport, because I think you know more about... I just know that he's a controversial figure as a person and an actor.
Yeah.
On social media or something.
Like, he's the type of person, right, who gets involved in celebrity beef that he has no business being in, like, do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he says the most ridiculous stuff. Do you ever see the clip of him? Someone hears commotion on the hotel floor and they open up the door and it's Michael Rappaport basically on the phone, right, facing away from him, and he's like, yeah, but if you give me another 50, I'll say up Israel, I'll say all this stuff.
No
like,
shit, really?
and he turns around and he's like, what the fuck, like, do you know what I mean? Like, but he's literally on the phone to someone. How much to be, because since October 7th especially, he's been literally so... It's not even that he's pro-Israel. He's completely anti-fucking life. Do you know what I mean? The way he's going on.
Shill, is he?
But that's the thing. He's completely... He was talking to Ben Shapiro on that phone. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
Not really, no. But I was hoping you'd laugh at that. I was hoping you'd laugh at that.
I just fucking believe it. Like,
no, but that's what it was like. He's talking to someone either from an Israeli fucking Mossad up there, because he's like, how much to say X, Y, and Z, and if you give me an extra 25,000, do you know what I mean? He's a complete fucking shill.
Can you imagine working at Mossad and it's like, here, you're going to be the one contacting Michael Rappaport? Wouldn't you be like, and like, where's my life gone? Gone wrong?
Like, and again, he's just an all-round not nice guy. And the way he's going on currently, he's running in the next mayoral race to beat Zoran Mamdani.
Good luck to him. No, because I remembered him from this. He's very good in this, I have to say. And he's in a bunch of films around this time.
True, yeah, but because this is back in the time where I was getting, like, I used to have a lot, before I knew who Michael Rappaport was and what he was about, I loved him. I loved him in certain films I'd seen him in, but I also loved listening to him because he was a big hip hop guy from New York.
Really? Okay.
Massive hip hop guy. So he was I saw him as a vehicle, as, I can get in on the culture too, like, do you know, if he can do it. And just to learn years later that he's just a fucking...
he's a big... what was he in? The last thing I remember seeing him in was the Tom Hanks, Clint Eastwood thing, Sully. Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah,
it's actually really good. He's just like a bartender and has a tiny kind of a part. But that was the last thing I remember.
You probably won't see him in that again. Like,
I would have my doubts now.
He's on the
except on the Daily Wire, fucking.
He's on the reality show circuit, and he was on the Traitors US and with Maura Higgins, I might add.
What a shame.
Yeah.
Sully, though, that's a good movie.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
I was surprised how much I liked that. That was very, very good. So then the film ends with... I did mention at the start, so these voiceovers, you can tell the voiceover at the end, and then the news reports, you're like, all right, you're giving us the happy ending. Because, it's Robert De Niro. Can you imagine being the guy who's like, welcome to the voiceover session, Mr. De Niro. Here's your lines, and the look he must have given them. What the fuck is this shit? Like, no one is above the law. Like, what the fuck? And then he probably does it, and you're like, well, that was amazing. Thank you, Mr. De Niro.
But did you notice here when De Niro comes out that his hair and his mustache are longer?
Yeah,
because he was shooting Jackie Brown. Yeah. Because he agreed to come back, but he said, I can't cut me beard around, like, do you know what I mean? Because that wasn't planned to have him come out and take him, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, no, there was an interesting story. It must have been the commentary track where James Mangold is like, so De Niro sits down at his desk in his office, in the set,
And he goes, where does he keep the rubber bands? And the guy, like the set deck, was like, what are you talking about? Why the fuck? But it was like, that was important to him. He's like, I need to know where everything is in case I want it. And then later on, he's playing with a rubber band in the scene.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing about De Niro is like, I heard Tarantino speak about it. He goes, once he knows what pair of shoes his character wears, that's 90% of the character for him. Like that type of shit. And I was listening to Stallone. I can't remember if it was in the making of or the round table. And he goes, you just look at him and he's going around and he's feeling the table and he's getting into it. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's just amazing.
Because I make these comments and they just say, because I heard someone say it about Spielberg as well. He says, they just work really hard. Like De Niro is a hard worker. Like he doesn't just kind of fucking show up and freelance it. Like he really puts in the graft, and like he will ask you questions that, you know, you or I be like, that's psychotic, like, but to him it's super important. Like yeah. And a lot of who was else, I mention him as often as I can. Peter Cushing was apparently like that. He was very particular with the props. But when you think about it, you're like, well, this is my office. I would know where that is, wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And to me, I'd be like, well, just read the words on the page, man. But like, that's why he is De Niro, like the fuck. And he loves trying things the way they are and there's very different ways. And which is why I find it kind of, that year I did the reviews of the films, I really was looking at like, what is it about casting? Because you see, I've seen De Niro in some stuff, and you're like, what's the? And then there's like a bit in The Irishman where he's talking. Now, granted, it's him and Al Pacino, and it's a great film, but there's a bit in it where he goes like, "Oh, don't say they wouldn't dare. Don't say they wouldn't dare." And just the way he says it, I genuinely like freeze up, and I get nearly choked up, and I'm like, what is it? Like, what is the magic that just makes it? Because in this, I would say he's very good in this, and he's memorable. And it wouldn't be like spectacular, the part. It's pretty good. But like he's been in some stuff. And
but there's a lot of depth given to that character, I think, through De Niro.
There's good writing. Yeah. There's that. But like, again, what was the classic one? I was like, if you'd have told me like 20 years ago, oh, there's going to be a version of Dune, which for some reason 20 years ago, I'd know what that was or whatever. Christopher Walken's going to be the king of the universe in it. I'd be like, oh, fucking, there's my money, take it. And then I see the films, and I'm like, what, that's it? And you're just like, what is it? Like, now granted, you could say the scene wasn't well written or whatever, but I'm still like, wouldn't you just think he'd show up and do something amazing? Like Denis Villeneuve's like, and he's like, what do you want? Oh, just be amazing, man. Like, isn't that what you're here for? You're like, well, you need something to fucking do.
Yeah. You need a part to play. Like,
there's an alchemy to things sometimes as well, which I just find very interesting.
I always find that with Denis Villeneuve as well. I love his frame, especially the big frame where the character's that size, isn't it? Like, I think that's beautiful. Like, do you know what I mean? But I do find that some of his interactions between actors and stuff is kind of weak. It's not always as good as it could be. Like, do you know what I mean? I found that Sicario as well. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, Sicario now. I haven't rewatched it now in a year or two, but that to me, I'm like, I was nearly going to bring that up. It's like, well, that's obviously perfect. But I know a guy and it really pissed him off when I was doing them reviews, because I kind of said the Dune films were a bit mid, essentially, and he was legit pissed off at me, like, and it'd be someone I'm friendly with, you know, and I was like, all right, man, look, I'm sorry, but like, what about this bit? What about this bit? And I go, okay, I see the disconnect here. You see those scenes and they're just so brilliant. Like, nearly the rest of the film kind of doesn't bother you. As I'm like, I'm not as impressed by them, so the rest of the film doesn't seem as amazing to me. And that is just perfectly legit. People love those movies. I just go, I don't like the David Lynch one because it's not actually very good, but it's very memorable and distinctive.
Yeah, I remember. Like, I mean, I've seen the David Lynch one, and it's because of that. Not because I think it's amazing or anything, but I'm like, do we need to see sandworms again? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that's literally my view on it. Like,
yeah, that's the Tarantino take on it. I think. But some people are pissed off at him for it.
Yeah, no, because when he said, I was like, you're speaking me language. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't need to see this shit again. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, which is to say now again, David Lynch, I think it's safe to say, missed the point of the books, which is Paul is not a hero, and his version he is.
Yeah.
So points to Denis Villeneuve for getting that, but then I am like, just look at Lynch's film. Like, it's nuts and it doesn't make any sense, but look at this shit, man. It's fucking amazing. Like, he just had that imagination.
It's just like stream of consciousness. Like,
I miss him terribly.
So we were discussing Copland.
Yes, we were. Yes.
Non-submersible units. I think there's only one, but
But let me think. I stole all of them for the first like half the year we were doing this, so I always feel guilty. Is there anything else? I'll just say the ensemble People remember it for that, I think, and it just kind of has a prestige air about it. Even though, as I said, I think some people get disappointed because, as I say, it is essentially a comic book movie, which you might go into it thinking it is a Godfather.
Because it is up until the last 10 minutes, like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or it's at least playing in the same wheelhouse, and then it kind of just, okay, that's what it was about all along. But I think I can guess. But what's your answer?
100% is. I was trying to think of something funny to say there, but I can't. Stallone. I think Stallone. To call Stallone a revelation in 1997 seems ridiculous. But in terms of his acting chops, like I think this was. And again, this could have been for me. I know it didn't do well, so maybe he couldn't have. But for me, looking at this point in his career, this could have been. Or maybe he can be late stage Brando.
Yeah.
But it still never worked out that way.
No, there's a road not taken.
Yeah. Because he was. There was some real humility. And humility is not something that you consider the fellow who played John Rambo. No. Do you know what I mean? And there's sincerity and there's a sadness and there's such nuance in that performance. And I was like, I never
really poured himself into it,
I never realised he had that potential. Even after seeing it a few years ago, because again, you watch things for this and you can watch. That was a film I just threw on 6 or 7 years ago, like, do you know what I mean? Whereas this, I really watched it this time.
Yeah.
And it's just really...
He's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah. No, he really is, yeah.
And he holds court as well with the better actors.
Yeah,
which
the powerhouse guys.
Which is the big thing, because it's easy to have a great performance with fucking Michael Rappaport. Do you know what I mean? But can you do it with De Niro and Liotta? Do you know what I mean? And he can. He does, and Keitel, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's the confidence to be like that, yeah.
And he's the confidence to be as meek as Freddy is, because that's tough for an action hero, like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean?
if you look what he was doing at the time, like, I think this was soon after Judge Dredd and that kind of thing, you know. Now, star rating, I'd find this slightly more complicated than usual, but I have an answer for it.
I do have an answer, but come on.
Well, in my memory, this was a handy 4 out of 5. I kind of have to say, and it's cheating a bit, I'd say it's a 3.5.
Totally agree. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, is it quite a 4? There's a lot of contrivances in it, and I don't actually like the ending. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, it can't be that high.
Yeah,
and the rest of it doesn't hold it up enough to...
Yeah, the ending is a weird one because I'm just like, I kind of see what you're going for, but at the same time, it's like, I think I can't think of how to end it in a better way or like a more appropriate way, but it just seemed like a little too simplistic for the film. Like, it just doesn't quite jive with it. Or maybe if he'd just done it a bit better, because, you know, I'm a real action fucking snob, I suppose. Maybe I'd be like, oh no, it's great. But it's just not quite right. I think he was trying to fit kind of a square peg into a round hole.
It felt like to me that he wanted to make his urban western. And he went, oh shit, this is not a western.
Yeah.
And went, I have to do something here, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was just short as playing the Guns of Navarone or something over there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's
true,
how, because even the style of filmmaking changes and all, like, at the end point, like, and it's like, and again, like, I have a real issue with if it's a John Wick film, kill the fucking main character. That's what I'm here to see.
Yeah.
But if there's some real arsehole and there's real a moral question going on throughout, because I mean, ultimately this isn't about anything except, it's not about gangsters, it's not about corrupt cops, it's not about corruption, it's about moral cowardice. It's about Stallone's ability to turn his back and look the other way, even though it's hurting him deep down inside. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. That's where the film lives and dies. And for it to just turn into this, do you know what I mean?
Actually, I was meaning to say, they don't spend a lot of time on it, but the whole the precinct being mobbed up, they don't make much of a thing of that at all. Like, they're just generally corrupt. But
but I know, because it's mentioned throughout, like the Toy Trulo or Tupelo or whatever you call him, the Tony Sirocco character that John's vote. So there's an actual mob, and they're just the hand of the mob.
Yeah, but
they're not the mobsters, like.
Yeah,
you know
so
what I mean?
I do think now, like, whatever. I didn't read the full interview, but like the thing with James Mangold, where he's being asked how does it relate to police today, like, you don't see them really brutalizing anyone. The cops, like, they don't talk about.
Well, I saw Michael Rappaport.
Excuse me, yeah, it's funny, but that doesn't stick in my mind when I see it, because as I say, they kind of go out of their way. It is just like. And I don't want to, because I know this does happen, but it is the kind of cliched cop thing of like, I got a piece in my car that I plant. You know, it's just a little OTT, and it doesn't have much to say because it's a little too much. if you know what I mean. And I'm not saying that stuff like that doesn't happen, like I'm sure it does, but you don't see day to day like kind of brutalization kind of things, which I think is a bigger issue, let's say.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like just a morality kind of a thing, up until the end, it's pretty good and it has stuff to say. And apparently, yeah, as I meant to mention this, he was pitching it at like Universal, James Mangold. And apparently, like the head of the studio is like, wait a minute, he kills a cop at the end. He's like, yeah.
That's right, no, it was Fox.
Was it Fox?
He was giving it to Fox. That's right.
Yeah, and he goes, "What? He kill all of them?" Yeah, kind of.
No,
that was the end of that.
And then fair play to James Mangold because he says, because he goes, "I'm not going to change these on mine." Right, thanks.
Yeah,
they have the balls to live, like, do you know what I mean? Fair play to him. And it should be mentioned as well. The producer of this, Kathy something.
Oh, was it? No, I was going to say I'm
but
always
they
wrong.
fell in love, Jordan, and they're still married. Yeah. Or maybe I hope they're still married. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments.
I think she's in the behind the scenes thing, and she's on the commentary.
Yeah,
I want to say. Yeah. No. Look, a film worth watching.
100% worth watching. If for nothing else, Stallone's performance, but it holds itself together enough that it is a good, solid film, even if the ending is disappointing.
Yeah. True. So check it out, guys. And what film has a more stacked cast? This or Grand Budapest?
On that bombshell. Get us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram.
All that good stuff.
That's all that good stuff. Yeah.
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah. We bid you due for another week.
As well. Cheers.
Take care. Cheers. See you on the next one. Bye bye.